again. Hello, Connor Macca.
Hi, hello mate. You alright?
We just finished a game against Sutton, where you've come out 7-1 winners, convincing. And now that makes it 9 wins out of 9 this season. Sutton last season proved quite tough to beat. I think you even lost maybe 4-1 to them at their ground.
Yeah.
This is surely the best start for the Dartford women and the best start for the team that you've had in the last few years.
It's definitely the best start from the team that I've been involved in. Obviously Macca's only been here 14 months now, but yeah, it's definitely the best start I've known. But I'm sure the chairman or Tony in there, the Stato, will be able to clarify that. But it's definitely a brilliant start for the ladies. We couldn't really ask for much more. Did we set out at the start? Probably not. To win 9 out of 9, no one can really set that as a goal. But I think deep down you don't want to lose any game, so maybe it is there. But no, credit to the ladies. They're just working so hard, making our jobs really easy, to be fair.
Very true. Very true.
Leading on to that, obviously didn't get to speak to you last week, but one thing that we noticed today was right from the start to the end of the game, that intensity level was there. There was no drop before half time, which we normally talk about. Was that something that you had to speak about after last week's game when, as we went there, it was a narrow win against Crawley, who he was expected to probably beat comfortably? Was that something you spoke about, that they need to change the way that they're playing?
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment to say we have had conversations, but we speak to the ladies a lot about what we believe is happening. We also ask them what they believe is happening. But I think certain parts of your question, firstly, Crawley played really well last week. Hats off to them. Yes, we ended up winning 2-0, but I think from their midweek game, they played Saltdean. I think it was a late goal that Saltdean beat them with. So they came with a game plan, which was to come to a team that hadn't been beaten and try not to get beat, which meant that we then had to pick certain solutions to be able to break them down. And I think what we've kind of spoken about was maybe in a couple of weeks previously we'd started slowly, and so what we kind of asked for the ladies to do was to play with a quicker tempo. We felt that last week we definitely done it second half, and listen, we have to be honest to them, they've played so well this season that the expectations are really high, but they delivered again second half. And then today I just thought that they played well for large parts of the game. I think we probably limited Sutton to a few chances, if that.
More long range shots, which we're happy to hold our hands up. Yep, and we set our stall out that if teams are going to have long range shots, then we're happy with that. But the ladies just from the first whistle today, and even in the team talk beforehand, there was a really good vibe about what we was going to do and how we was going to do it, and we all identified that this week's training session was probably the best we've ever had, and it shows really the kind of the mentality that the ladies are establishing. And we spoke today about resilience, and we spoke about pressure, because when you're winning games of football, teams want to come and beat you, and we're not naive enough to think that we're not going to go unbeaten all season. When we started this season, we said we wanted to get good habits and we wanted to win as many football games as we could, see where we are at Christmas, and then kind of take it from there. But I think a lot of the work that we've done last season is really coming into fruition now, and I think that's huge credit to the ladies, because last season was last season, but what they've done is they've taken the mantle in pre-season. They did some unbelievable work in pre-season, and I think a lot of people that we've spoken to, opposition managers that we've played, have said these girls are really fit, and I think they deserve huge credit for that, because we've done a lot of work in pre-season that potentially people won't have seen, probably more than teams that I've been involved in previously. But for me, they just got about their work with a desire to start the season with aplomb, and I think that's what we're seeing at the moment. So no, I think they were brilliant today, and they deserved all the credit they got afterwards.
So we noticed that two of the development players came in today. Is it time that you're going to start bringing some of these girls through? I mean, they won the league last season, they're doing quite well this season. is that something that you want to start looking at, giving these girls a chance? They both came on today, both played really well, could have arguably both scored as well.
Yeah, they could have both definitely scored. And full credit to Molly Smith and Amy Reader for coming on and not looking out of place. Last year Amy Reader did play majority of games for us, but we felt that she's not quite at the level that she was at starting with us. So we dropped her down, and then today we brought her back in. And really, she was hungry. She was aggressive. You could see that when there was a few little niggles in there. But just a little shout out to Molly Smith, who I thought was really good. I think for someone that's 17, she's about 6 foot. She could have scored. She looks comfortable. But there's no point having a development squad if no one's going to develop and get into the first team. So whatever we're doing at the moment is working, and it's not a token gesture. I think Dan Edwards, the development coach, manager, is doing a fabulous job. He's recommended the 2, he's picked the 2, and we wasn't scared to put them on today. Yes, it was 4-1 up when they come on maybe, but that don't matter. Like, they didn't care about that. They worked their socks off, and full credit to the coaches in the development side. They're doing a great job.
Just on that, one thing I would like to say is, I think we talk about the first team going 9 from 9. We spoke about it during the week. This whole club is going 9 from 9, because when you've got a first team, you've got a development team. What we're trying to build is, we're building a football club. We're not building teams, we're building one football club. And we identified that when we first came in last year, is that you don't want a them and us, we want a we and us. Okay? And so those ladies as well deserve huge credit, because in pre-season they were working just as hard as the girls that are currently in the first team squad. But to allude to what the 2 girls today, I truly believe that is the quality that we watch on a Wednesday. Don't forget, we obviously get to watch those ladies train as well. And there's others that we've spoken about that potentially we'd like to bring up. We've got hopefully some cup games coming up soon where we can put more of these ladies in. And I think that then becomes the mantle for what we're trying to achieve, because we've got 17-year-old ladies that potentially other teams would be scared to even throw them in. We're not scared to throw them in, because we're training them the right way. We know the mentalities, we know the attitudes, and we know what we want to get out of them. And so for us, the message is really clear, is that, this is one club, and if you can do the right things at training, and we get the feedback from the management team to say they're definitely progressing, well, the next stage of progression is to come with the first team and bed in with the ladies that we've got, because our ladies are great role models. Because if you come into this dressing room, they do the right things, they've got great habits, great professionalism, and so if I was a young player, I'd be excited about being at Dartford.
On that as well, similar subject, you've got two of the new signings are currently out with injuries. Does that concern you at all? Are you looking to replace them short term? Are you going to dip into that development team? Or do you think the squad's big enough that you're not going to need to do that?
Yeah, the two ladies in question, Gemma Shepherd, Molly Hawkins, big players for us, big part of our squads. So it's always rubbish, I suppose, when players get injured. But I think we've alluded to it all season in the interviews that we've done, is that this is a squad. We've got probably 20, 21 players chomping at the bit to play. And so what's the point in having a squad if you're not willing to play them? The development team, they're chomping at the bit as well, because you've got younger players that want to play first team football. And so for us, I don't think it's a case that we want to go out and just sign a load of players, because that's not our ethos, that's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is coaching from within, giving people an opportunity to play, teaching them the right ways, teaching them what this football club means, etc, etc. So we will always look for good players to come in. We've got good players, we've got very good players, and it's only about bringing the right people in that potentially are going to make us any better. And that's not a criticism to anybody, but we watch a lot of games. Like, we were out this week watching Sutton. We've been out, we've watched a lot of the teams that are in our league, because if there is an opportunity for us to progress as a football club, why wouldn't we? And so for us, it's just about identifying potentially how long the girls are going to be out for. That's a big question. If it's a long term, then potentially we might be looking at other players, whether from within or outside. But fingers crossed, we're hoping the girls have gone and had some scans this week, and we're hoping that they're going to be okay.
Fingers crossed.
Lastly, before we leave, I just wanted to you mentioned it there, young players coming through. One of them young players has started in the team and scored today, the first goal.
Yeah.
She's made a massive impact in the team in Shan.
Yeah.
So she's come in, and that centre midfield role she's trying to make her own. What do you think she's brought to the team?
I think you just alluded to it there. Like, she's made it her own. I think she's took it with both hands. It's not something that we saw in pre-season, but she has natural qualities to play that midfield role. Today it looked like she was more of an attacking midfielder when she come on. And we spoke to her at the start, and no one wants to be so-called dropped or left out the side or anything like that, but at the end of the day she's a 17-year-old girl at the end of the day, lady. And we need to protect her. We said that we're just looking after you. Do we have any questions about your ability? No. We're not scared to play her in any position. Like, she can play centre half. I think she can play anywhere with her qualities. We've said to her, you need to score more goals, but let's be realistic. She's not played this level, I don't think. Not too many games, and definitely not in midfield. But she's just been a pleasure to coach, pleasure to watch. And she's turning it out to be a leader. Really fun person to be around the squad. You don't hear too many bad things said about her. Usually with young players, there's an attitude, there's an arrogance, or they know it all. She's a sponge. She soaks everything up. She's like, if you had to decide player of the season, she'd be right up there. So like, we got no more plaudits to say about her. Yeah, she did fantastic.
A big credit goes to her mum as well, by the way. Her mum's fantastic for her. She's here every week. She talks well to her. She keeps her grounded. And for us, we don't care how old the players are. If they're good enough, they'll play. And listen, I wish more people in football would do that, because it gives opportunities for players to progress. But for us, we identified it in pre-season and said, you know what, maybe players get pigeonholed in certain positions. We don't do that. You know, we like to look at players and adapt them and look at things that potentially they can get stronger on. People would say they're weaknesses, but for us it's just about adaptation. It's about evolution as a player. She's doing extremely well, but you know, we'll keep asking for more from her, because that's what this is about. And I think if she keeps her feet grounded, I think she's got a really good career in football ahead of her. So you know, long may that continue. But she's lucky. She's got some really good girls wrapped around her. You know, this group is fantastic. So they'll keep her grounded and they'll keep her honest, and that's the most important thing.
Thanks, guys. I know the girls listen to it, so another shout out for Charlie today. She scored a second goal this season.
Fantastic.
Vaughan got the hat trick. Nisha got one as well. And of course, Shawnee come off the bench. She's always scored. She's
done really well.
But thanks, guys. On to Ebbsfleet this week. Tough one. Win that, and we could all be having a party. Who knows?
Let's see.
See you later.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers, Alex.